Hi, I'm Beth. Thanks for joining me for today's yoga video, Tame Tension with Twists. So in this yoga class, we are going to be doing all kinds of twists, starting from standing and then working our way down to the floor. Because we're going from up to down, this is a great practice to do at the end of your day. Twists will help you to unwind and relax. So we'll work to tame tension with twists. We'll start standing on your mat. Take your feet about parallel and a little bit wider than hip width apart. Now, if you want your toes pointing out a little bit, that's fine. Have a comfortable, solid stance in your feet. Your hips are pointing toward me. Take your arms a little bit away from your body. Your fingertips are loose. And we'll start to do sort of a little sway of the arms around, back and forth. Now, this is just a little warm-up twist movement. As you're moving here, notice what part of your body is moving. So obviously, your arms are swinging back and forth. Notice how the twisting action really starts around the area of your belly button. I'm going to slow this down to show you a little bit. Around the area of your belly button starts moving up through your thoracic spine, your rib cage area, and then up through your chest and shoulders. And I've been looking straight toward you, but you might have a little gentle neck turn. So that would be all the way up to your thoracic spine. So these are spinal twists, and that's going to be most of the movement in today's class. And you'll see how it looks is not so important as connecting the mind, the body. This is mindful yoga. We're doing this to feel better, not to look a certain way. And eventually you start slowing the hands down. Next, we'll do a half forward fold with a twist. I'm going to turn to the side for some of the twists so you can see me a little bit better. Again, place your feet where they feel comfortable. This time maybe a little bit closer so that they're supporting right under your hip joint and approximately parallel. Hands can come to your hips. And we're going to start hinging forward right from where the tops of your legs meet your pelvic girdle. So you'll see that my back remains relatively flat. Of course, the spine has natural curves, but I'm coming down to about halfway where I have approximately a flat back. I'm going to place my hands on my hips, and I'm going to bend my left knee a little bit more and start to open up toward you, which is toward my right. So as I do this, the right leg might have a little micro bend, but it stays relatively straight. The left knee can bend even more. The right elbow starts to point up toward the sky as I draw my right shoulder blade back. Now again, I'm looking right at you. I could choose to look more up to the ceiling. So the neck is optional to add to the twist. It does not have to go all the way up to the neck. If it's comfortable, you can add it. You can choose to keep the chin centered on the chest. You can even choose to look back down in your twist. And after one more breath, we'll push into both feet and come up. And we'll go to the other side. I'll stay facing you, so this time I'll be twisting away from you. Now notice we'll be holding each of these twists for a little bit. I would say about 4 to 5 breaths, but that could vary. So we come to that halfway point again. This time it's my right knee that bends. And then I start to spiral that twist from my belly button, and you'll see my back ribs as they twist. My back left shoulder start to draw in a little bit. I have the deep bend in this right knee, maybe a little bend in the other knee. And I'm trying to keep my hips pointed back, so sometimes the hips want to shift one way or another in the twist. So I'm trying to keep my hips relatively stable so the action is in the spine. And then next breath, I'm going to unwind, push into my feet, come up and turn around to face you. This time I'm going to take my feet a bit wider, so wider than my hips. If you're on a mat that's the other way, they might be outside of your mat. Again, finding a spot where your feet are comfortable. They can be parallel or maybe turned in a little bit or turned out a little bit if that's not comfortable for you. We'll find that same joint right where the femur goes into the pelvic girdle. That's where we're going to be going forward from again. You can move slowly through this. So moving slowly allows us time to focus on what our body is doing, to feel the breath in the body as we're folding. So you'll notice that flat back. I'm not rounding my back as I move into this. I'm going to start to slide my hands down my legs. Now, if this is the place where your body comes to, you can place your hands on a coffee table, on a box, on whatever you have, on yoga blocks. I'm going to hinge forward a little bit more, and my hands comfortably reach the ground. Sometimes scooching your feet even further apart will allow your hands to comfortably reach the ground. Now it's my right hand, or if I mirror you, it'll be your left hand. So I'll do it the other way. Your left hand to mirror my right. Gonna bring the right hand to the hip. And think about your crown of your head coming toward me. We always want length in the back, then as we twist around to your right. And we'll do this one twice on each side. So after a few breaths, you can unwind back through center, switch your hands, and then left elbow back, left shoulder back as you begin to open up toward your left. Come to wherever you naturally come in your twist and take a breath or two. And we'll come back down. This time we'll try it with the arm out. Now notice how I'm keeping my arm in the same plane as my torso. So as I open up, my arm doesn't come down here or go behind my body. It stays in line with my body. And this is where I open up to. So I don't want to stretch my arm further than I can twist my torso. I want to keep my arm naturally coming out so that this feels comfortable in the body. And moving with the breath, touch back down. Second side, reaching the arm out so that it's at the same part of the torso, and then allow the breath to move you into the twist, twisting through your spine, maybe looking up at your hand. And your hand might be further up than mine. You might have further reach in your twist than I do. Might be further down. Either is completely fine. And then exhale. Hands back down. This time I'm going to take my hands to the leg, slide them up so that I have about that halfway lift, and then push all the way up. I'll scooch my feet back in toward each other and step together. We'll do one more standing twist. So I'm going to face the side again for you to see this twist. Starting with our feet about hip width apart again. And this time we're going to sink back into a little kind of baby chair pose. So you don't have to go super deep here. My knees aren't coming way out over my toes, but I am trying to send my bottom back. And I'm trying to stay long in my spine. So when we twist, we're trying to wring out the spine and all of the organs, but we can't do that if my spine is rounded like this. I don't have any room to twist. If I breathe in and have a long spine with my tailbone pointed in one direction and the crown of the head pointed in the other direction, I have a lot more room to twist. We'll start this with reaching the hands straight out in front. Now I'm going to look over my right thumb and follow my right thumb as I move out toward the right. And again, my arm is staying in line pretty much with my plane of the body, only going as far as I can. And then I exhale, follow the thumb back. And on the next breath, go the other direction. Follow the thumb back. One more each side. And back through center, push into your feet, stand your body up. So yes, that is a little bit of work for your quad muscles. You're going to feel that in the chair pose. We'll do one more little version here. Starting in the same way, sinking back into the chair, just up a little bit more to center. This time, hands at heart center. And now I'm going to take my right leg and step it behind the left in a little bit of, you might know this as a curtsy lunge. It's also called a Shiva squat. So stepping the foot back, little Shiva squat, squatting into both legs, and then I'll turn away from you. So there's more wringing out with my legs in this position. The legs are now twisted also. A lot more work for the feet, a little bit of balance, as you can see me losing my balance and stepping back, and that's fine, right? There's nothing wrong with that. Just because I'm the teacher doesn't mean I keep my balance 100% of the time. I try to step back as naturally as possible. Let's see how the other side goes. So find your feet, sink back into your little chair. This time it's going to be my left leg that crosses behind. So you see I have a little bit of twist to my legs. So I'll try to make myself a little stable first, make sure I have my torso up tall, then squat down a little bit more, and then twist. Now this feels a little stable on this side. When we take the elements one at a time like that, it can really help add to making it stable and helping us be able to hold for a few breaths. So last breath here. I'm going to lean a little bit forward so that I can step forward, overstep there, into the chair, and push back up. All right, that was our last standing pose. We'll come down to kneeling. Now I have a thicker mat under my thinner mat. If you would prefer something under your knees for a little bit more cushioning, go right ahead. From your standing knees, we're going to step the right foot forward. And we'll start with the knees approximately in 90-90, but then I'm actually going to scooch my front foot even more forward so that I'm not right on the kneecap of my back knee. And in fact, I'll put my hand down a second so that I can scooch that back knee back even a little more. Now you see we start with the same upright spine. My spine looks straight up to down. My tailbone is pointing down, crown of my head up, opening the arms. And start by moving away from you. So moving away from the bent leg, keeping the spine tall as I twist. This is an open twist because I'm moving away from the body. And then on the next breath, I'm going to come through center and move toward you. Now for anyone out there who might be pregnant, open twists are preferable. Especially as you get further into your pregnancy, you don't want to constrict the abdomen too much. So you don't want to turn toward the body like I have here. You want to stay with the twists that turn away. And then back through center, release the arms. And we'll do a little bit of a deeper twist, a closed twist to that same side. Now lean forward, keeping my back long. I can make sure I breathe in to keep that length. And as I exhale, I'm going to twist back to that side. Now my hands can stay right here over the side of my thigh. If you want to add a layer and you have room to do so in your body, your elbow can come over the knee. This is actually my tighter side, so it's a little more challenging for me on this side. And then you'll often see the hands together in a prayer. I actually like doing a little bit of a ball and socket. So getting a fist into the bottom hand, the top hand is a socket over. And I found that this gives me a little more leverage without hurting my wrists at all. So a breath here. Even as you're in the twist, you can work to elongate the spine. And then on your exhales, maybe explore a little bit more room for twisting. And when you're ready, release back to front. You can use your hand on the leg. Bring that leg back. Maybe take a moment here and breathe. I'm a big fan of pausing in our practice, allowing our bodies time to regroup, and then we'll step the other leg forward. So scooch it up to where you want so that it feels stable and there's no pain in your back kneecap. You can scooch that leg back, this leg forward, having a comfortable distance between the legs. Start with hands on top of the thigh, encouraging your body to come more upright. And then keeping that length, widen your arms out to a T. Of course, they can be in a cactus, a V, or any other shape. And we'll start by twisting in our open twist. So I'll be twisting toward you, away from this bent knee. I really like open twists. Closed twists do feel a lot of really wringing out the tension, but open twists just feel Nice. Feel expansive on the body. And then next breath, start to go through center, around to the other side. Come back through center. We'll stay on this side, but I think I'll flip around to face you so you get a different view of that twist. So this is the one where we'll start by leaning forward a bit over the front leg and then twisting around the ribs. Elbow comes over, or you stay right here with the hands on the side of the thigh. Or elbow comes over, and if you'd like to try that ball and socket, it's the bottom hand that is the ball. Top hand comes over. Then you can use your knee pressing, really not your knee, your thigh pressing into the elbow, your elbow pressing to the thigh to maybe give you a little more space. Never forcing it, but kind of like a gentle little cranking mechanism. Breathe here. See if you can take one more full breath cycle. And then exhale. Unwind back to front and have a seat. We'll do a few seated twists and we'll finish with one of my favorite lying twists. So for your seated twist, start by drawing your feet together, not really close in a bound angle shape, but a little further away in a butterfly or even a diamond shape. And rest your feet on your ankles. That movement can help you to upright your spine. Now, if you have shorter arms, you're just not going to be able to reach, so then you will have to slide your feet in a little bit closer. Take a moment here, wiggle on your sit bones to get more comfortable, more upright. Allow your body to be upright. We're going to release the left hand and twist toward your left. Take a breath in tall. And then as you exhale, open the left hand toward the left in any arm position that you'd like. We'll hold open for a breath or two. And then back through center. Switch hands. Open the right arm to the right. And perhaps you can feel that even though the focus is on twist of the spine, we're starting to add in other elements like the hips. And back through center. We'll add a little shoulder element to this as well. So you can keep your left foot in the same position. Right foot just comes out a little bit so that you're on the heel of that foot. Now you can be on the heel of both feet. Sometimes that feels a little more constrictive to the body. So I'm going to keep the left foot here, the right foot out, toes pointed a little up. The first thing I'm going to do is twist, and then I'll add the little extra shoulder bonus. So breathe in, feel your body grow a little taller, at least your torso grow a little more upright. Exhale, start to spin around toward that bent knee. Now you can stay right here, resting one hand on the knee or the thigh. The other hand comes behind you like a kickstand. Or you can take the left hand. I usually have thumb down. If there's a different way for you to do it, you can. Reaching to the outside of the foot, gently pulling your foot back toward you and pulling your shoulder away. Now I really love this stretch. You can even point your foot away from you to aid in the stretch. This really targets that area in the back of my shoulders that often people say, please massage here on me. And at the same time, I'm stretching my hips. I'm still in a little bit of a twist. I'll take another breath or two. And first release the hand. Allow your body to come back up from its lean and then unwind to finish. So we don't want to sort of jerk ourselves out of the twist. We want to mindfully come out like we came in. Switch the pattern of your legs. It's your left foot that goes out a little bit. And that's another thing that you'll have to adjust really based on the length of your arms. Everybody is going to be different here. Breathe in and twist around toward your bent knee. Give your body a second, scooch and readjust however you need. Then start to lean forward in your twist. And if you'd like to add the hand, reach the palm to the outside of your left foot. And you might have to scooch this too. So finding where you can do a little bit of a grip. My other hand can come to the side as a little kickstand. And I gently pull back with my shoulder, maybe pushing my foot away like I'm pushing down on the gas pedal. Feeling that nice stretch in the back of my shoulder, the back of my deltoid. It's staying long in my twist. It can be easy to slouch. You see, I just reminded myself to breathe in and stay long. Maybe finding even a little more room to twist in this. And one more breath. And then back around to front. All right, one more seated twist. Now I'm going to show a couple of different versions. I'm going to show a bent, both knees bent and one leg straight, because the both knees bent, although my favorite, is not accessible to everyone, or just maybe doesn't feel as comfortable in your body. So let's start with both knees bent on the floor in front of you. Take your left leg and straighten it out. Right leg stays bent. So we're going to be twisting toward your right. There's actually 3 different levels you can add. So this is one level or one layer, one place to be is use your hands on your knee, just like we did in kneeling in the lunge, to help upright the body, and then turn right toward the knee. Now remember, for pregnant people, you'll want to turn the opposite direction away into an open twist. Or for anyone that just this is not comfortable. The legs can be further apart if where I have them here is not comfortable, or you can try crossing the bent knee over. That's kind of a prep for the next version of the twist. So you can twist here. Many versions for many bodies. Last version, I'm going to just get into this a little different. We'll start the same way, both knees bent. This time, my leg that was extended before is going to cross under this leg. So your left leg moves over to your right hip. Your foot lands somewhere in the right hip. The knee is pointing forward now. And then I have to help this foot to scooch over. This is my right foot scooched over. That's going to take me sort of listing to the left. So I'm going to re-scooch on my sit bone so that I'm upright. And if I get here okay and I feel comfortable, then I'm going to take my body up tall and long. And on my exhale, spin around. Arms rest wherever they rest. You can be hugging this knee. On this side, I have room to go over the knee. You'll see I don't on the other side, so you get a sense of what it looks from side to side for me. And then for the last breath or two, I have the option to look over the back shoulder. Release back through center, extend the legs, maybe do a little bit of a windshield wiper action, or extend them and give them a little shake in front of you as we go to the second side. So remember, many different options. It's all about how it feels in your body. Let's start by we'll all extend the right leg, bend the left, and wherever you place this foot, either closer in, further out, even crossed over, that's up to you and how it feels in your body. You can gauge that by can you sit up straight and tall? Once you go to twist, do you have room here to twist? And that might even be leaning back a little bit more. That's another option, is to lean a little bit, as long as your back stays straight and long. So I'm not leaning into a curve. I'm leaning with a straight back hinge. Remember that for those who are pregnant, you're going to take this twist open. For anyone who's not, if you want to take the closed twist, you'll move around to the left. And then if you'd like to try the bent knee version on this side, if you're good here, just hold, certainly. Then you take the straight leg, so your right leg, cross it underneath, bend it, take the right heel to the left hip, and then give it a little help. Take the left leg over, scooch around so you're not feeling like you're going to fall off to the side, that you feel relatively even on both hips. Probably you'll still feel a little heavier in the right. Breathe up tall and we'll be twisting to your left. Last seated twist. My backhand just naturally comes behind as a kickstand. Oh, and I said I would show you on this side my limit. So I'm holding here because I don't really have the space to put my elbow over on this side. I usually just hold naturally. It's just a different, my twisting capacity of this side is not as much as on the other side. And then one more breath. Unwind back to center. Unwind your legs. Shake them out straight, or again, little windshield wiper back and forth to release. And we'll come to lying on your back for one last twist. Now there are so many versions of reclined twist. I'm just going to show you one in part because it's my favorite, so that's why. And also because I don't see it taught quite as much in class. I'm starting to see it more than I used to, but I'll show you. Start by lying on the floor. My knees are bent. My feet are comfortably close to my body. And then I'm going to take my left foot, bend it, left knee comes under, or left ankle comes under the right knee in a figure four. So you've probably done this before. This is figure four. Sometimes it's called reclined pigeon. We'll stay here for a moment to adjust the body. Make sure that the bent knee is moving away. It's okay if it's here. Just encourage it to move away because we're really focusing on the action of this hip. And then we're going to keep our legs in exactly this position and twist to the right. So this foot is going to start coming toward the floor, just kind of tipping the whole, everything down from the waist, the whole lower half of the body in this direction, and landing wherever you land. Now, when you land, you're welcome to adjust, and maybe that includes scooching the bottom leg under you a little more. Maybe it's reaching down with this right hand for your left foot and tucking it a little closer to you. Maybe your foot didn't land, and that's where you step on that block or that table on this side. Wherever you find yourself, you want to then wiggle a little bit at first to get comfortable and adjust so that you can have your opposite shoulder. So this is my left shoulder lowering toward the ground. It's fine if it's up. I can use my right elbow kind of push down to do a little bit of a mini lift and unwind my spine a little bit so that my chest is pointing to the ceiling, my shoulder blades release toward the floor. And any position with your arms, out in the T, cactus shape, even overhead is good. Focus on letting this hip that's in the air feel heavy. It's certainly not going to come down to the ground, but let everything in your pelvis feel heavy. When we're in reclined position, gravity aids the postures. So allow gravity to be your friend here and just soften everything as we take another breath or two in this twist. Now you can lift up the same way we came in, or you might choose to unwind your legs first, give them a little stack, then take them up. And maybe you even do a few windshield wipers here in this reclined position. All right, last pose, last side. Find yourself back in center. This time it's my right ankle that will come just under my left knee. And again, I take a moment to be here. I don't have to rush to the next stage. I want to make sure I have some openness in this area, in this joint. That's part of what this pose addresses in addition to the outside hip, the glute. Allow that to open for a moment or two. And then I'll start this process of twisting. And I should say, unlike the standing twist and most of the seated twist, now we're unwinding from the belly button down. But really, everything up is twisting. It's just that we're kind of moving the twist or cranking it from the opposite twist point, if that makes sense. Once you get down, you can adjust the bottom foot, the foot that's on the floor in the twist. You can scooch that closer. You can move the bottom leg closer to your bottom or away. You can adjust the arms. Now, because I've stayed looking at the camera the whole time, on this side I have a full twist from my legs through the spine, through the thoracic. You'll see my right shoulder is reached toward the floor, and then I can glance my head in that direction too. You don't have to add the head. You can stay looking up or in the same direction of your knees. Settle in, and we'll settle in for a few more breaths. Now, as you're twisting and unwinding, you wind up on the floor. So this is a nice practice you can do in the evening or before bed. I have a few evening practices that you can try if you want to experiment with what works best for you. And you can gently start to unwind from your twist. Place your feet back down on the floor. Now, I encourage you to spend a few minutes relaxing. You can stretch your legs out long in Shavasana. Because we did a bit of external rotation, that's when we move our legs out. You can let your knees come toward each other, move your feet out. This is an internal rotation from the hips. And it just happens to be a really restful place for your back. Hands can come to rest on your body or away. So choose a place where you can rest for a few moments or maybe 3 to 5 breaths, just taking a little bit of time to synthesize your practice. I'm going to roll up to finish. I love comments. I love hearing what you thought and what else you'd like to see. So please comment below. Give me a like if you enjoyed this practice. I'll suggest some other practices for you. And subscribe to my channel if you want to be notified when I add new practices, which is usually once a week on Thursday or Fridays. Have a great rest of your day, and thank you for joining me today.